is a thing of great joy to have you in this series of broadcasts titled Seeds of Greatness. The Seeds of Greatness are extracts from a set of books published by Anointed Seed Publishers, and this is why those extracts are cumulatively called the Anointed Seeds of Greatness. Now, what are the Anointed Seeds of Greatness? Over a period of the past 20 years or thereabout, I had this inspiration to begin to write a set of books. So I wrote some of the seeds of greatness and I co-authored some of the seeds of greatness. And I didn't know what they were going to be used for or how they were going to be relevant or at any time they're going to be relevant. But we are now in a period in the history of our nation where I see the need to make the content of these books available because they are indeed tools, ready tools that will be utilized for the Birth of New Nigeria project that we have all looked forward to over the years. Now, let me invite my friend Alex to read a portion from one of the 7 books in the Seeds of Greatness series. And this time he's going to be reading from the book Bring Out the Greatness Hidden Inside You, Unleash Your Creativity, written by my humble self, Bon Robert Chimereze. Now, Alex, over to you.
1. Your creative self. You are more creative than you know. Before now, creativity was seen as something one was either born with or without. The people's understanding of creativity was narrowed down to the appreciation of creative works of art. It is therefore not uncommon to hear a banker, a lawyer, and even an engineer who says, "I am not creative." The truth, however, is that the Creator Himself made you in His own image and likeness so that you too can create and continue to create just as He does. In other words, you are a product of the creative ingenuity of the Almighty God and you inherited His ability and capacity to create. The very genius of Christianity is the ability of God to build Himself into us through the Word, so that in our daily walk we live like the Master. If you had been thinking of yourself as not being creative, I am sure that you will change your mind by the time you are through with the first chapter of this book. You will discover that you are not only capable of high creative performance in multiples of areas, you could actually be among the geniuses of our time now waiting to manifest. Hidden giants. Many geniuses and highly creative individuals are yet to discover themselves. Many are waiting to be discovered, while others are yet to improve upon their raw, natural potentials and are therefore operating at levels where their endowments are yet inconspicuous and unprofitable. The time we are in is such that no person can afford to allow his or her talents, potentials, and creative abilities to lie dormant and waste. The nations that are today reckoned as advanced were lifted to their exalted positions by the creativity index of their citizens. Individuals in such advanced nations take time to work on themselves. They sharpen their skills, develop their potentials, and learn to think, speak, and act creatively. What they do, you too can do. This book has been written to show you how, and to help you move from where you are to where your Creator purposed in the beginning that you should be.
Thank you so much, Alex. Now, let's do a quick recap of some of the vital points that are raised in that brief portion from Bring Out the Greatness Hidden Inside You, Unleash Your Creativity. One is the fact that you are more creative than you know. Usual characteristic of man to underrate who he is and overestimate what he thinks others have. If you look into yourself and really begin to understand what you're made of and what you're capable of, you will amaze your own self. And that is why the situation that these books in the series of Seed of Greatness provide for us is such important ones that they can actually get you to realize who you are and then trigger off something inside you that make you to determine to actualize those great potentials that are lying dormant inside of you. Second, he said, you were created in the very image of God Himself, and therefore, that simply means that you are a creator because you are actually made in the image and likeness of God. He said, another very important point there is that you could actually be among the geniuses of our time. No matter where you find yourself today, There is something inside you waiting to be discovered. And when you discover it and develop it and begin to make it available, you may become one of those amazing things that happen in life, and you will indeed discover that you are not as small a person as you have always been thinking of yourself. Of course, there's another point in mid there that you could be a hidden giant. Yes, a hidden giant. But for how long can this giant hide? The time has come. The nation needs you now. The society needs you now. That gift and talent that has been bottled up inside of you, this is the time to make it available because every resource we have is needed now to build a new Nigeria, to build a great nation that will be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with any other advanced nation in the world. What they have, we have. We have human beings who are intelligent, who are capable, and now we're having human beings who are realizing that they are creative and that they can create just as God Himself does. And that's going to be something quite amazing as you wake up to the reality of who you are. Of course, He said again, do not allow your potentials to waste. One of the saddest things in life is that many creative persons never even scratched the potentials that they have. Or one of the writers that I've read say that the richest place in the world is the graveyard where untapped potentials, creative ideas that were never put to use, inventions that were never made or that were never advanced from just being mere figment of imagination or thought, where all these are buried and they are profiting no one when they enter the grave. So right now, think of those things that you have. This series, just I invite you to stay tuned to this series and you will be quickened. I assure you that something will happen to you that will make you rise up from where you are and begin to really explore deep inside you to discover who you truly are and to begin to make use of that natural ability that God made you with. And you will indeed discover that you are not a small person at all. God does not create non-entities, and you are a person of substance, a person of value. But you have got to dig out your own value, polish it, and then make it available to people around you, and that's what begins to translate into wealth and to prosperity when the potentials that have been lying dormant are made more valuable through development and then through availing them to people who will value them so much that they will be prepared to part with resources that they have and purchase those things. And that's what results in wealth and everything else that go with it. So you are greater, much more creative, much more productive than you have ever imagined. And of course, it says move from where you are to where you should be. That's the place you should be. Get up. I don't know how discouragement has cost you. I don't know how discouraged you have been, or how despondent or resigned you have become to faith. And something tells you that it's all over. There's no way you can make progress. You cannot go beyond this point, and then you'll be looking for an opportunity to throw in the towel and to say, "Well, I have always known I wouldn't make it beyond now." I have good news for you. Your greatness is just about to open up. Just stick to this program, Seeds of Greatness. When a seed is planted, it may be something insignificant. It may be something as tiny as just a grain of sand. But just wait for it, for the rain to fall on it, for the sunshine to come upon it, and it germinates. And before you know it, it becomes such a mighty tree that begins to host birds and animals and other creatures, and then very soon start to bear fruit that begin to nourish even the whole of humankind.